Sitting in Los Angeles jail.
Of course, most of you know they're going to electric shock OJ. And you understand the historic meaning of the song that we're playing right now. Joined by one of the most talented radio personalities in the history of the medium. Of course, he was one half of the Opie and Anthony Show. Now the Anthony Cumia Show, which you can get starting Monday, not Thursday, Monday, August 4th at 4 p.m. at anthonycumia.com to subscribe today. Anthony Cumia is on the show right now. Ant, how you doing, bud?
Pretty good. Doing all right, you know, sleeping late. It's kind of a new thing, but...
You know, you're on Afternoon Drive on WJFK, where you had many, many years and many, many listeners. Did you look favorably back on your experiences with D.C.?
Oh, absolutely, man. We always had fun when we went there, and the fans were crazy. It was a lot of fun. I look back fondly on my days on terrestrial radio, as they call it. I have to remember, too, don't curse, don't curse, don't curse, don't curse. Okay.
You did mornings for many years. I'm guessing you can swing right back into it. The first question I got to ask you is, you had that enormous feud with the Don and Mike show, which was on here for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
That's all behind you, right? Like that, is that whole thing been squashed?
Oh, yeah. I don't even know what that was about. Like, radio wars are the dumbest things, because you really you realize after a while, like, what did we even argue about? Like, what was each show's problem with the other one? And I honestly have no idea. I liked those guys. I would listen to them when I was driving home. I liked them. It was the weirdest thing. Radio battles are really stupid. I don't get it.
They're dumb, but that one was incredibly entertaining. So
yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, it really started getting nasty. And then, you know, things happen in real life, and it puts some perspective on things, and you're like, oh, God, this is pretty stupid.
Yeah, what do we do? We're grown men screaming at each other over the speakers. Like, what is this all about?
Over nothing. You know, and you don't even take it's so meaningless. You don't even take it home with you. Like, it's for when you're on the air. And I never gave it a thought when I was home or driving home or anything. But then on the air, it's like the most important thing. This guy is the jerks.
You just had a little change in your career.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it made a few. I don't know if you saw it. It made a few headlines.
Yeah.
I had a chance to interview you last night for a podcast I do, which was great, and get some insight.
Yeah, that was fun, man.
It was, and I saw your piece on Red Eye, which I thought you did really well there. For people that are listening and they just here because, you know, there's a lot of people that maybe not familiar with your show and they're familiar with this story. Can you provide a little context to those that might not be familiar with the way that you kind of are on the air as to why this is such a bizarre turn of events? Because you basically were fired for being paid to say on the air to say something on Twitter. I didn't phrase that very well, but I think you get what I'm trying to say.
That's been brought up quite a few times. I've been doing the radio show on XM and Sirius for, you know, combined for 10 years, and my personality is whatever it is. I spoke about things that were outrageous and racial and what could be considered misogynistic, or and I'd been doing that for 10 years, and then I spout off on Twitter about being pissed off at this woman that was beating on my head in Times Square, and I went off. You know, I was angry and wrote some unflattering things about her. And SiriusXM was like, okay, well, we don't like that. Goodbye. You're fired. It's like, what? Honestly, I didn't touch her. I didn't even strike her back or anything. And they decided that the tweets had a violent tone to them. So I guess, you know, a violent tone being written is worse than if I had actually been violent in real life.
Yeah.
Strange. Made no sense. They're idiots.
I know you're not a big football guy, Anthony, but we've been talking about this Ray Rice thing today, where he, knocked his chick out, and there's video of him dragging her out of the elevator. And
Right.
Somebody made the point yesterday on the show. They said if Ray Rice actually was smart to knock his chick out, because if he would have used a gay slur on Twitter at her, he probably would have been suspended for longer. And
exactly,
it's a very strange part. People, look, I'm sure people disagree with you. I'm sure you're fine with people disagreeing with your take.
Sure.
It's got to be very bizarre. I know it is for me, to be in a world where actual violence is not treated as extremely as something you would write on a social media network. It's very strange.
It really is, but that's the times we're living in. Symbolism over substance. They'd rather you actually commit some violent act, I guess, than write about it or write a slur or offend people. That seems to be the biggest thing you can do now, is to offend somebody. And anybody that says that they're open to discussion about certain sensitive topics, they're lying. They just lie. They're open to discussions if they agree with what you're saying. If not, you're then the poster boy for racism or sexism or homophobia, because you just might have an opposing viewpoint.
Yeah.
The term racist is hilarious to me these days. It means nothing anymore. It's thrown out there so often, and for situations that don't even merit it, that it's become just a word that means nothing anymore. So when people call me racist because I'm talking about racial issues, I laugh at it. I don't care. Good. Call me that.
When you, I heard a lot of people came to your defense in all this when it was not very popular to come to your defense. And one of them, man, was Adam Carolla. And
yes,
one of the things he said, which I thought was very, very smart, is if you don't want to get fired for saying what you say, build your own pirate ship. And he's built his own pirate ship on his podcast, and you're building your pirate ship now. When you are doing your own show and you don't have a boss and there's nobody that can come down and fire you, I mean, what is the content? What is the narratives that we're talking about here when you launch the Anthony Cumia Show on August 4th at 4 p.m., anthonycumia.com to view and to listen to that? What are we talking about there?
Yeah, it really is exciting to think about, because over the years in broadcasting, I've always had a boss, or lawyers, or the FCC. There's always been somebody that kept you reined in. And now I have the ability to go on and say whatever I please. And really, there isn't much anybody can do about it. I really don't care how my reputation is with people that I don't value their opinion anyway. People like Gawker and various other sites that have an agenda. So it doesn't matter to me what they write about. I would welcome it. But at this point, I could speak openly and honestly, have real open and honest discussions with the listeners and callers to the show, and not have any restrictions as to what anybody says, or any fear that there's going to be these reprisals that can take you down. Yeah. Because in all honesty, when you say something that might offend somebody, a sensitive topic, whatever, the retribution should be a debate. It should honestly be that another person has another viewpoint and they are able to voice it. It shouldn't be that you have to worry that your job is going to be taken away or your reputation is going to be soiled because you have an opinion about something. It's ridiculous to think those are the times we live in. It should be an equal retribution, which is somebody has an opposing viewpoint. That's how we're supposed to act in a civilized society, not have this black cloud looming over people's heads that they're going to be fired for having an opinion, whether it's popular or unpopular or whatever.
Yeah, it's wild, man. I'm a huge fan of yours, but there was one segment you were doing on the old show on Opie and Anthony where I'm a huge Willie Nelson fan. Like, I love Willie Nelson, and you were murdering Willie Nelson on the show. And I sat there and I was like, oh my God, this sucks. Like, Ant's killing Willie. And then I said, all right, well, he just doesn't like Willie Nelson. It would be like if I then was calling everybody and saying how offended I was and how my sensibilities and you were being disrespectful. Like, what happens to people where they can't just say, I don't like that. That's not my brand. And they take it to the next level where not only do you have to be silenced, but you have to lose your way to earn a wage. Like, when is that step taken now?
I don't know when this happened, but everyone has a voice now through social media,
Yeah.
and they search out places to be offended now. They literally look for people to offend them so they could then be outraged and voice their opinion and perhaps get somebody in trouble. We have a bunch of little rats running around. I often look at the book 1984 and Big Brother is watching. And years ago, we all had this image that the government was going to have all these cameras and watch us and pay attention to what we say in the privacy of our homes and whatnot. And then it turns out it was never the government. It turned out to be us. We ourselves are ratting each other out in record numbers. We are the ones pulling the cameras out and recording people and recording their private conversations and releasing them. It's not this all-knowing government that's doing it. We're doing it to ourselves, which is really strange. I don't think anyone saw that coming. It's an odd situation we're in, and people, like I said, they used to have to write letters, get a stamp, but before you know it, you're bored with it, or you're not as angry anymore. Now you can just spout off instantly, and put your thoughts up there for everybody to see, and it's kind of a dangerous thing.
How does it feel to be back on CBS Radio, Ant?
I know, this is odd. I was thinking that when I heard the promo running while I was on hold. Like, wow, JFK. And
it's a company that needed you desperately, then fired you, then needed you desperately again, and then fired you. It's just, I don't even know if this has ever happened maybe in the history of radio, what's going on right here.
It really is strange, man. This business is just bizarre. A new boss comes in, all of a sudden you're the favorite again, and they hire you, and then they fire you, and another boss comes in, they hire you again. It's a strange line of work, man.
Do you think I mean, this is technically a sports station. I got to ask you one sports question. Do you think the Redskins should change the name of their team?
No, I honestly don't think so. I don't think there was any malice when the name was made, when they decided to call the team the Redskins. I think anything. I think it was kind of a strong name. Like, oh, look, they're powerful. Whether it's a slur or not, I don't know. I've heard things. I've heard what it's supposed to mean, what it really means. I don't know. I just don't think they should. I don't think anybody should be forced to do anything, to change names or change what you said or change speech or change what's written in books. I think that's ridiculous. It doesn't stop anything,
Once the dust settles a little bit, man, if you are down here, I do the show by myself now for 4 hours. I'd love to have you just come back in and shoot the S on current events if that's possible.
I'd love it, man. I really would.
That'd be great.
That'd be a lot of fun.
It's at Anthony Cumia. And, of course, the Anthony Cumia Show starts Monday, August 4th at 4 p.m. You can go to anthonycumia.com right now. I actually signed up for the full year, sir, last evening.
Ooh.
You can subscribe today. Yes. Nice little discount on that, by the way.
Yes, absolutely. Always trying to help out.
Very generous.
That's cool, man. Thanks.
Yeah,
I definitely appreciate it.
You got a lot of fans still in the D.C. area, Anthony. Thank you very much for making the time, man.
No problem. Thank you, man.
There's Anthony Cumia. And again, even if you disagree with his politics and if you disagree with what he said on Twitter, which I know a lot of you do, I think the essence of what, the argument is okay, disagree with me. Okay, be pissed. Let's have a dialogue. Let's have a debate. Let's not storm the castle walls with the pitchforks and the torches. Thank you to him. Thank you to Keith the Cop for getting him on as well. It is greatly appreciated. And again, it's at Anthony Cumia and anthonycumia.com to subscribe today. Jeff Darlington at 5:30 from Richmond, Redskins training camp. You're listening.